You right there, honey?
Yeah, man. Right.
Here we are. Here we are. I don't know what number episode this is, but...
It doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't.
We're rolling,
it doesn't.
aren't we?
We're rolling, so yeah. First of all, Ben, welcome.
Thanks for coming in, Ben. Great to have you here, mate.
Yeah.
Great to be here, boys, yeah.
If you can't see Ben, he's just a specimen of another planet. I've been doing quite a lot of research on you.
I'm sensing there's a little bit of a man crush.
Yeah, there is.
Honestly, I've not heard.
Literally, we've had 2 interviews today, and I said, I've got Ben. I've got Ben. He's my guy.
Yeah,
I get him. I understand
Do I
him.
sit between you?
Yes, please.
I thought you were going to say no. But yeah, Ben Edmonds, Blok Knives.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming down. Very excited to have a chat and to kind of
definitely
see where this goes. But this is another idea, a podcast and channel for creatives, entrepreneurs, self-employed, people that are into art, design, running businesses, whatever it might be.
That's it.
And you're gonna line up Ben and Blok. And
Yeah.
Tell everybody what Ben does.
So,
Over to you, Igor.
Yeah.
Moment.
As I said, I've been doing quite a bit of research into you.
Okay. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
And yeah, we are creative podcasts for creatives. And in my mind, the guests might be thinking, why would we bring in a guy that does knives? Why?
Knife maker.
Why?
It's a great question.
Why?
It's a great question.
But if you really look into Ben, first of all, he's an artisan knife maker. That's what I see. And you are creative at heart, for sure. And the more I've sort of like dug into you and what you do and everything else, I love the fact that yes you create knives, but you create art. It's beautiful. From having clients that want to incorporate their walking stick and gold into their granddad's walking stick and jewelry into the specific knife, or working with big brands like McCain and Observe and everything else. And then to add on top, you literally come in here and by the way, I have a Smokehouse, and by the way, I have a custom shop. Where does it stop, man? Where does it stop?
That's the question I'm asking. I'm asking myself quite a lot. Where does it stop? I think I've certainly learned in the last 10 years of doing this that I'm the type of character that just clearly can't stop. I like a project. I like a challenge, and over the years, it's certainly kind of taken me off in different directions.
Yeah.
Some that I not necessarily wanted to go in, but you learn from those, don't you? But what I have learned is that I'm a person that likes to challenge myself. I like a new task.
And I've known you personally for several years now, and it's like, what's Ben doing this week?
Yeah, that seems.
What's Ben doing this week?
That seems to be the question,
which I love. I absolutely admire it about you. I love that you've got this kind of just, I'm going to give it a go mentality. Like there's absolutely, almost, you might tell us otherwise, almost no fear. Like,
it's there is the fear, but then my head always jumps back to what's the worst that can happen. Realistically, what is the worst that could happen with all the stuff that I'm going to try? You know, we've been quite lucky in regards to when we started the knives. They took off relatively quickly, so the money's always just kind of flowed in. Now I totally realise that that's a privileged position to be in. So that's never been a major concern. So therefore, you
haven't got that through luck, though.
No, it's not. No.
But,
it's,
that's your bread and butter, right?
That's the bread and butter. That is 100% the core. But then that's allowed me. Any relatively sane person would have probably just sat back and gone, "This is good.
Here we go.
This is a nice, easy tickle. I can get on with this, and I can have a nice, steady life." Yeah. But then I go, but can I just risk a bit doing this? Or maybe just a bit of that, because it's just it's challenge based for me. If you were to say how are you driven, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm monetary driven. I'm goal driven. So I just like to try stuff. I've got this mentality that if someone's done it before, surely you can do it too. I can do it. So I'd certainly like to challenge myself. I think that thinking of what are you doing next, Ben? That is the thing with me. Like every time I have a conversation with a friend I've not spoke to for a while, they're like, Why are you doing that? Like, come on.
But to rewind the clock a little bit.
Yeah.
So you started making knives 7-8 years ago, maybe
10
years ago.
Don't.
And you said on your site that it started with a YouTube video.
Yes.
How did you start with a YouTube video? Because you were a designer before, right?
Yeah. So I was in graphical web design. Did that for 12 years. And because I've always been inquisitive, I've always had a project on the go. So there's always been something to do. And working behind a screen, I don't know about you guys, but you sit there day in, day out, and that's all you do. And the last thing you want to do when you get home is look at another screen. So I didn't have a TV, I didn't have a console or anything. So I always like to do something. And I was known as Sausages Ben for a while. Because I used to make charcuterie in my outbuilding at home.
Of course you did.
Of course you did. Of course, why not? So, I've always had a project on the go, whether it's a bit of furniture or...
I'm glad you were called Sausage Ben for that reason.
Yeah, that's the only reason I was called Sausages Ben, I think, anyway. I don't know, don't listen. But yeah, so I've always had stuff on the go. Always been into cars and mechanics and bikes and stuff. And as a joke... a friend of mine that I used to work with, he bought me a pipe and slippers for my birthday because I've always had a beard and I used to drink real ale. So he's like, "You're an old man, you need a pipe and slippers." So then, me being me, was like, "How do you smoke a pipe?" YouTube. "How do you smoke a pipe?" Bosh. I said Bosh again. Bosh. How do you smoke a pipe? Bosh. And then learn how to smoke this pipe on YouTube. And then you obviously go down that rabbit hole, don't you, of all the YouTube stuff?
Of course you do.
As we all do. Yeah. And then next thing you know, I'm looking at a guy somewhere in Canada talking about knives and pipes. He's a collection of both. And then it just snowballed onto knife making. And then there's a guy making a knife. And I thought, that's a nice project. And that was all that was in my head at that point, is that looks like it's going to be fun to do. Work with something I've never worked with before to that level. And then it just snowballed from there. So I made a knife, and it was crap. So then I made another one and another one, and
it became less crap.
And it became less crap, and then less crap now 10 years later, hopefully. But it's unlike anything else. I've always just made something and gone, "Oh, that's all right," and then moved on to the next thing. But something with the knives really resonated. I don't know whether it was just working with the materials, the process. I found it quite therapeutic.
I mean, saying that the knives were crap to start with is kind of a bit weird, sort of a bit of an understatement. Like, do you want to describe what the knives are like to people that are listening that haven't checked out what Blok Knives are about?
They're really artisan. You could literally make... They're beautiful, first of all. Just think samurai knives. And this is the thing. They've got an identity.
Yes.
That's what I love about them.
Yeah.
They've got an identity. They say something about you, and they say something about the person that you have made them for.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's more than just a kitchen knife.
It very much is. You mold different materials into it, and they're just beautiful. And you can look at them and you say, "This is art."
Yeah. I think that's where, from a design point of view, and that's the background. Yeah. I'm always drawn by visual stuff, and I like to make things look pretty. So I think I took that across to knife making and thought, how can I make a functional piece that's good to use and chop with, but then is also a good looking item as well to have around. So that's always been really important to me, is how things visually appeal.
They're not a low entry point, are they? Your knives.
No.
I mean, what do you retail them at for people that are listening?
Our average kind of 8-inch chef knife's around 380 quid.
Yeah, so it's quite an investment.
Yeah,
but you look at it and you go, that's a knife that I'm going to have for decades.
Yeah, and that's and then off the back of that, we try and educate people how to use them properly, how to sharpen them properly, so that hopefully they will have that knife for as long as they're around. That's the end goal, really. It's I just like making nice things.
Who's bought the knives then?
Let's
give us some names.
Drop us some big names. No, but we're being serious though. We're being serious.
Come
on. Probably about 3 months ago, we made some for Gordon Ramsey.
There we
Who's
go.
That guy?
He's one.
Who's that guy?
Who's that guy? Jamie Oliver's got some. We do a lot for Bains in Nottingham. The likes of Adam Hanling, Brad Carter. So all the kind of
the chefs,
basically.
Yeah.
We've done.
I think that must be a massive compliment to see that your knives are revered in an industry that relies on that as a product.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
That's got to be like the biggest compliment you could get, right? Is that they go, "We want one of those knives."
Yeah, and it's strange sometimes because you don't necessarily know that information. Yeah, obviously we know who we sell to, but you don't necessarily know. You don't hear about yourself, do you, from other people? So I heard the other day, a friend of mine went to a restaurant in Lichfield, really good restaurant, and he said, "Oh, my friend makes knives," and he said, "Is it Blok Knives?" And he told Andy all about me.
Yeah.
And then Andy relayed that back to me, saying, "This is what I've heard," and it's lovely that we're held up there with some of the best.
All from a YouTube video.
All from the powers of YouTube, the powers of YouTube. But yeah, it's lovely to be nestled in with those likes of people, without a doubt. And then we make the Observer Food Awards. That's been a really big thing for us over the years. They've just fired that back up again this year. Yeah. So we're just about to start doing that, which again, by default, gets the knives into, again, the hands of like Mary Berry, Nigella Lawson, all these people that have won these awards. They come with one of our knives.
Right from their face.
Yeah,
amazing.
It's been.
How quickly from you watching those videos and making those first few knives? How quickly did it scale to the stage where you were?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm leaving my job as a designer, my full-time paid safety blanket, to going, I'm going to go and make knives for a living. Because what kind of time frame did that happen over?
I made a bunch, probably in about a year and a half, and then we got a bit of press. It was Derbyshire Life, I think it was, and New Kid on the Block, genius.
There you go.
Well done, guys. But we got a bit of press, and from that point, it kind of started to snowball. So probably 6 months later, we were on a piece for Friday Night Food and Drink with Tom Kerridge, and that aired. And again, I was kind of part-time at work, part-time making knives, not sure what to do. And again, it's that comfort blanket, that big risk of like,
it's huge.
I've got to go and I'm either going to take the leap to do this, and do I pay the mortgage, or do I just carry on like I'm carrying on? And it was kind of forced, really. I didn't have to. The pressure was alleviated a little bit, because on that night when it aired, so it aired on a Friday night at 8:45. By 9 o'clock, I'd taken 2.5 years worth of orders in 15 minutes. Like,
these are handmade knives. They're one-off pieces. That you physically have to go and go right.
How long does it take to make them?
So we can make about 10 a week. That's where we're at.
2.5 years worth of orders.
So
that's the decision made for
you.
That was it. That
was exactly it. I thought there was something wrong with my laptop to start with, because it was going bing, 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 bing. I was like, this is knackered. Let's shut this down and throw it away. But then I looked, and it was just emails with people going inquiring. So that was then at that point. Well,
that's an incredible story, though. It's just so good.
And you think at that point, it's got to work now.
Yeah,
hasn't it? You think at least it's going to work for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And then hopefully by that time, I'll have built it up to a point where it continues to work, and then we'll all be okay. But that's how
amazing.
It originally happened.
And how do you sort of like find the creative process of literally working with all these people? Is it quite personal, or do you find that some are quite just do whatever you want to do because we trust you?
Yeah.
Or do you get people that are really, really involved and
bit of both?
Yeah.
And I like both angles as well that people approach it. Some people just go, yes, do what you want. You know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. We like what you produce. I say I like both as much. I don't like the other side as much. Because what you tend to find is they're really, people that want specific stuff. Yeah. But then,
because you're allowing them to custom build a knife, right?
Yeah.
And once you've started that process,
I
suppose the problem is, once you're too far down the line.
Well, that's it. I've worked with people before that go, you've done 3 builds for them, and they're still not happy. They're like, and there's things that we can't affect in a knife, like the natural wood. Yeah. But by the time you start chopping into it and grinding it down, it's going to look slightly different to how it did when it actually was a block. Was it block? So there's all that.
Is that where the name comes from?
No, it isn't. Oh. I could make something really good up about the name, but it wouldn't be true. I might do it anyway. We'll talk about that in a bit. But it's, and then you get that kind of group in the middle that, like the walking stick bit, that just, it's super special. For somebody to come in and go, right, I've got this and I've got this, and this is the story behind it, and this is the reasoning behind it, and this is what this is what I want you to do, and they leave you to it. They give you some guidance, but they leave you to it, and then you walk away knowing that you're doing that.
Yeah, you've got your brief, but there's a great creative freedom.
Yeah,
around it.
Exactly. And then, but the main emphasis is on why they're doing it. And that's what makes it really special.
Yeah.
We've made some incredibly challenging, even just talk about it, but like incredibly challenging knives for people.
Give us the deets.
Just a guy came in, he was dying, he had 6 months to live, and he wanted these 2 knives for his sons, and it was beautiful. It's affecting me now, but it was beautiful to why have you picked me to come and make it's just 2 knives? Just 2 knives, but it meant so much to him, and it meant so much to them, and I still keep in contact with them now. Dad's gone, but these 2 lads have got these knives, and you get some real
goosebumps.
It's no, I got it. I'm welling up a little bit just thinking of the girls, but and just thinking of the thought of you just part of their legacy now.
Yeah,
not just you are part of their legacy now, and how incredible is that?
Yeah.
To be able to do that, in a job that, or something that you literally just started in your garage and something else. Yeah. And that's incredible.
Yeah, it is. And, it's those moments, no matter what's going on and how stressful sometimes it can be, no matter how good it is, it's always going to be stressful to some degree. Yeah. You then get that little snippet of just bosh. Yeah.
Have you managed to clear that 2.5 years worth of backlog?
Oh yeah.
Is that all right?
That's gone.
I think you asked Igor about how many he makes in a week. What's the actual turnaround time for a knife? Like how many man hours go into making a knife?
It varies. You see, that's the thing, because it
kind of started off as just like a particular style of knife, and then over the years you've added different types of knives.
Yeah. So we've added. There's probably 7 in the range now. In total, and I don't want to make. You can get a knife for everything, can't you? You get like a pepper knife and all that. I don't want to go too far down that road, but we've got about 7 in the range, and we started with 1. And then those people went, well, can you do this one? And it's just built like that. But in terms of man hours, it's hard to quantify it, because things go wrong. Sometimes wood reacts differently. Some stuff's tougher. But one person could probably make 10 a week at a nice pace. And again, it's not something you can do all day, every day either, because it's quite brutal.
Well, I've seen your studio. I know. It's it's an industry.
Yeah, it is.
It's an industrial unit. There are sparks. It's
dusty. You're grinding with a big mask on. It's not. It looks,
get dirt on your nails.
Yeah, it looks all romantic from the outside, and we make it look good. But in essence, we're glorified metal workers. That's what it is. So you can't, even if you were to do 8, 9, 10 hours a day, you just wouldn't be feasible. You couldn't do it. You'd fall apart.
Before we get into more question stuff, I just think that process of Ben going, I'm just going to watch this YouTube video. I'm inspired by this. I like this. I'm going to go for it, and just scaling it into a business like it is today. I just think it's incredible. Yeah. And I think we talked about it at the start, the amount of people that have ideas that think, they're sat at the desk, right? Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, sat there beavering away. Yeah. And they're just bored, and they have all these ideas. Yeah. And actually, just to see that you've just gone, I'm going to go and do that. Yeah.
Have you always been like that? Where does that drive come from?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Is this one of your therapy sessions again?
Yeah, it might be. I think it is.
This is what I'm paying for this.
Is this what's happening? Am I paying for this? No, I honestly don't know. I try not to question it too much, because I like it. I don't. It's taken me a while to realise that's how I am.
Don't fix it.
Yeah, but that is just how I am.
Most people aren't.
Yeah, no.
Most people don't have that kind of just get up and go attitude and drive.
Yeah, no.
They get to 45, 50 and they go, oh, shit, I wish I'd have tried that. Yeah, you're not going to have that problem because you've just gone for it.
Yeah, that's the thing I don't want to do. I know that's the thing I don't want to look back and go, I just wish, or what if? Yeah, I can look at the mistakes that I've made. And the things that haven't worked out, but then at least I can go, well, that didn't work out. Yeah. Don't do that again. Yeah, and then move on. Yeah, that's as quick as I can try and process things. Is just okay. I talk to people about things I've done in the past and the amounts of money I've lost in the past, and they've gone, oh yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, and it was my risk to take, and I took the risk, and it was with my money, and it didn't work out. So therefore, I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah, you're at ease with it. Like
and then you go, well,
it's an experience.
And then you go, well, never do that again, or do that.
You've learned from it.
Slightly tweak it.
So that was our next question, and this guy's kind of queued it up perfectly.
Yeah.
About, it kind of sounds like everything's been a success for you, but it obviously hasn't.
No.
What have been those things that you've experienced, or those failures that you aren't going to touch again? Like what?
I mean, the festival. The festival was a big one I wouldn't touch again. But again, that was a result of a few things that had worked. We did these blocking sessions that we used to put food and music on and sell tickets.
People used to come to. You loved them.
And they really worked well. And then I tried to scale it up. And we did so with the street food market. That worked. And then I tried to go again. And
scale it up even more.
Yeah.
And the signs were there.
Yeah, it was.
Like, exactly how you've said it.
So describe the vibe. So just for anyone that's listening.
It was a. The idea was it was a family kind of food festival. It was over 3 days, nice and chilled. 6,000 people, lovely estate park that it was going to be on, and that was it. But it. Again, one of the I don't know to this day whether it would have worked or not, but weighing the risks up, it was either I pulled it 2 weeks before and lost the money that I invested, or put it on.
What kind of numbers are we at?
We're 80 grand for that.
Okay.
So, but then if I'd have put the festival on, I'd have owed obviously stage production, bands, blah blah blah. So the majority of the money was lost through deposits to bands and stuff. But then if I'd have put that on, I'd have owed probably over £250,000. So
that's a big jump,
isn't it? You're lying in bed at night going, all the advice I'm being told is that you sell the majority tickets 2 weeks before your festival. I know how much I've sold, I know how much I've paid out and how much I've got to pay out. Where do you go from there? At what point do you go, nah? And I just went, nah. That was it. It was too stressful.
They're both scary numbers.
They are. They're hugely scary numbers. But it was too stressful to go. It was going back to this whole take a risk on my terms and on my money and at my cost. And that's what I did, and it didn't pay off. So I won't do that again. I will never do a festival again. But I'll do stuff on a smaller scale, which is what we do now. I still like entertaining people. I still enjoy the food side of it.
Well, you've done markets before. You've worked with restaurants and stuff. And, you've always had that side of your business. And I suppose that kind of feeds into your brand as well as
very much does.
It does. And it all drives off food anyway. That's the reason I started to make a kitchen knife because I enjoy food. So I've always had that in the background. So anything that's associated with that, I can kind of tag onto and I get involved in. But never again.
I completely admire you for going for that festival.
Oh, it's brutal.
I mean, I can't imagine dealing with those numbers.
Yeah, it's scary, isn't it?
And like you said, like I almost, when you said like lying in bed, going, what do I do here? It made me. I felt a bit anxious.
Yeah,
going 80 grand.
Yeah,
but you could lose 250.
Yeah,
I mean,
we could owe 250. That's the thing. You could owe it. You could owe it, and at that point,
I mean, I'm all up for taking risk. There comes a point, isn't there, where you're like, hold on 1 second.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
So talking food, how did the Smokehouse come about? I know it's one of your passions, the food and everything else, but what was the process?
The Smokehouse again was a bit of an accident. So we did the YouTube Cooking with Nothing. So that was a little season of shows which we had chefs come in, they cooked in the workshop in this kitchen, and it was a bit like Saturday Kitchen. Yeah, that was the vibe.
Use your knives.
Yeah,
they show their skills. Use your knives.
But a cooler version of Saturday Kitchen.
Yeah, a cooler version of Saturday Kitchen. Noted. But then we had this kitchen in the workshop, and we didn't know what to do with it. So I was like, well, what can we do? It seems like a waste of space just to have this kitchen here. And I've always wanted to build a stupidly big smoker. That's always been like, I don't know, dream of mine, getting a big gas tank and chopping it up. So that's what we did. And then we trialled it and it worked. And then I thought, well, we've got the big smoker outside. It's not going to fit in my garden. We've got the kitchen. Why not just do a smokehouse? So that's it literally just, it was just one step after another. It wasn't like I'm sitting down making a conscious decision to open a smokehouse up.
I think sometimes it's about recognising opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you're obviously very good at going, there's something here, I'm going to go with it, and just going with it quickly without probably, the only downside would be is almost like you just go all guns blazing, and maybe that is probably the only critique I could find is that you just go for it.
Yeah, fully.
And actually, which is a great thing. But I love that you've just seen that opportunity and gone for it. And now the smokehouse has now turned into custom build smokers. Yeah, that you're now adding on to your business as well.
Exactly. So we've gone down the smokehouse route, and that's, again, I'm a sucker for trying to keep things traditional. So it is a traditional Texas style smokehouse. Yeah. So I'm cooking through the night. We start cooking on Friday at 10 in the morning, and I'll cook all the way through Friday night until first service at 2 o'clock on Saturday.
Wow.
That's brutal. That is absolutely...
So I mean, I don't know, I'm not too aware of what a smoker is or smoke. So what's the process of that, like cooking for that period of time? You just super low heat?
And slow.
Yeah. Right.
That's all it is. So the idea is you have a cooking chamber, you have your firebox, the fire generates some heat, which heats the chamber up, but the smoke...
It's like a big oil drum.
Smoke,
Big oil drum, and it passes over the top and comes out of a chimney. That's it. So it's low and slow cooking. But when you're doing big briskets, big chunky briskets, they're like 18-hour cooks.
Wow.
But you have to be there with it. You can't just turn it on and...
Sometimes you've got to spritz it. And
you've got to spritz it. Yeah. You've got to...
Oh, hold on, Igor.
Hey? He's got all the right
terminology.
Oh, no, I know. Plus, I'm a foodie, so yeah. When you say
spritz it, love it.
Traditional Texas, I'm there with you.
Bit of spritz, but you've got to monitor the meat. You've got to take it out, wrap it up, and there's loads of stuff involved.
Make sure your rub is nice.
Exactly. But in essence, that fire has got to be at the right temperature and maintained for that amount of time. Right. So you just have to be there. So it's a business idea, not the best, and it's not something we can roll out or do any more frequently, because I would never get any sleep ever. But it was one of these things it's a labour of love. I don't want to change the way we do it because it is traditional. And people seem to really like it. So I'd rather just have something that's selling out every time, and I'm producing a tray of food that, and again, it's those little things. It's those little wins. Like we had a guy from Texas on Saturday for the first sitting, and I panicked, thinking, oh, here we go, here he is. And I'd met him before, and he talked it up and stuff. But then he came in and he went, there you go. He had the first service, and then after, I went up to him tentatively and said, how was it? And he got up, he cried and hugged me and said, it's just like home.
Brilliant. That's just such an amazing story as well. Like that must, like, the level of job satisfaction you must get from those experiences must be like off the charts.
Yeah. I think
could you go and work in an office and just sit at a desk?
Imagine me in an office. I'd last about 20 minutes flat, wouldn't I?
We said this earlier, didn't we? We just don't like being told what to do.
No, that's another thing I've learned. I couldn't be told what to do. I need somebody that I'm accountable to help drive.
Yeah, that's it.
But I as regards that and a structure.
Yeah.
Because working for yourself, it is a lifestyle. And it isn't just a 9 to 5, because it's never off your head. It's never off there. It's always there. Something bubbling away, and you go, oh, I need to address that or do this, or you'll find a bit of time to do.
Yeah.
You never stop. So it's not as easy pickings as everybody thinks it might be. But the other side of that is, I don't want to go 9 to 5, sit there, do this, because I'd explode. I think
there'll be a lot of people that will relate to that.
Yeah.
Just to take a slight detour from that, though, who inspires Ben? Like, where do you take your inspiration from, and how does that transfer into to the work and the knives that you produce?
It's a great question. I think and I'm a sucker for this because I don't even live by it. It's funny, but there's a guy, David Hyatt Denim, and I had the amazing opportunity to go and speak at one of his things called Do Lectures, which are just he gets a bunch of people that he thinks are inspirational. So God knows why I was there, but a bunch of people that think are inspirational, and then a bunch of people that want to listen to that. And he sticks them all on a farm in Wales and has a weekend at it with great food, great music, and it's an amazing atmosphere.
I think I've seen that. I think I've seen Mr. Bingo spoken at one of those.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
It's so strange the level of people that get. I mean, the day I was speaking, there was two girls on before me, like teenage girls, that had jigged the genes in crops to genetically modify them to grow in third world like I'm sat there going, oh shit, I've got to follow this. I've literally got to go on stage.
You're literally solving world hunger, and here I come.
And I go, I'm Ben and I make knives. Like, it sounds absolutely ridiculous.
They leave the stage to a standing ovation.
Yeah, and this is Ben from Derby, and he makes knives. Fantastic. But as a thing to do, it was one of the most incredible experiences of my entire life. Mm-hmm. But the guy that heads it all up, David, he had a clothing brand called Howie's that was sold, but then they promised him that they would keep all of. I think this is loosely it, but they promised him they'd keep all the production in Wales. They then bought it, binned it all off to somewhere else, and then he lost heart with it. Bought all the stuff back, the old factory back, and set up this jeans brand, Hyatt Denim. But his mantra is do one thing and do it well. And that's it. So so you look at me going, I'm all scattered. But I try. It's weird, isn't it? Because I really look up to this guy.
I do get it.
And he's whatever he's doing. And I think there is some direction in what I'm doing because it's all food related.
Yeah.
And it has got some kind of meaning to it somewhere. But I really look up to that as a thing. He's just like, I just make jeans. And I make really good jeans.
Yeah.
And obviously he doesn't just, he does these lectures now and he's got other bits and bobs built around that. But his main focus is, let's just make jeans. So I've kind of taken that and gone, let's just make knives and then build other stuff around it. But yeah, so David for me has been a big inspiration in the journey, I guess.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I suppose that's from a business sense as well. Like, I can see that you've really embraced that idea of just doing something incredibly well, taking that's looking at the market and going, I'm gonna do those better than those guys, and just smashing it out of the park. But I mean, I suppose my question was a bit more geared towards like the visual aesthetics of things, like what inspires you creatively.
Okay. Lots of stuff. I am
lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. I'm a very visual person, but I think I take little snippets from inspirations from life, from everything I'm doing, really. I suppose that's quite a waffly answer, but I don't just go, that's the thing for me. I never forget somebody saying once, I think it's really important that you can grab that from as many places as you can. Yeah. And I don't know who said it, but somebody said, never trust, this is when I was doing design, they said, never trust a design studio that's got all their own work up on the walls. And I thought that was a really interesting,
that's great.
Really interesting comment, because if you just surround yourself with all your own stuff, you then quite quickly can become very closed off and quite narrow-minded to everything that's around you. So I just try and stay like the opposite. I just try and stay open-minded and taking as much stuff as I can from all walks of life and all different characters and all different visuals, because I think that's the only way. We get a lot of comments, like you guys have touched on, with they're not just knives, that visually they look pretty. And that's why people, I think that's another reason why people buy into what we do. Yeah, is because it's very visual. Everything around the workshop's very visual. I think it's important. Like in here, it's a lovely space to be. It's a lovely space to work, and I see the value in that. If I go somewhere for a lot of my time, I want it to be nice.
Yeah,
man.
you want it trickles down. Doesn't it?
Yeah. You want something inspirational, and
I want it to be good. I want random crap up everywhere. And people go, "Why have you?" But it makes me feel happy. It makes me feel nice, and therefore, I can produce better stuff.
I remember when you adorned the walls of your previous studio with people just doing drawing. you did, was it a knife giveaway that you did?
Yeah, we did.
You let people just do a drawing, just any random drawing. Oh. But the work that came out of it was quite incredible.
There was some shockers.
But even the shockers were shockingly bad in a really, shockingly good in a really interesting way.
But they all had a little story behind them. So people were sending stuff in with a little story attached to them. And the idea was, I said, we've got this wall and I want to fill it with art from you guys, and we'll give a knife away to the winner. But it was really tricky to pick that winner because they were all. Someone had gone really detailed, like doing like skulls out of like a biro, which is incredible. Then someone drew a stick man, and like it was it was really interesting. But again, I just wanted to be. I want to be around that stuff, rather than just. So I suppose it's like putting pictures of you up on. I mean, just be like be a weird thing to do. I know that's skirting around the edges a little bit, but I don't have a distinct, like, that's what I get my inspiration from. That is it.
No, I get it.
I just try and surround myself with as much interesting stuff as possible.
And I think it's, from what you're saying as well, it's very much the people that you surround yourself with that very much sort of like inspire you.
Fully.
And you sort of like touch upon it a little bit in the sense of allowing, yes, you want your freedom and everything else, but at the same time you have those people in your life that you sort of like have parameters that sort of like keep you grounded or focused on specific things. Who would you say those people are?
Another great question. This is like a counselling session, isn't it? No, I think the people I've worked with. So I've got Jack at the moment, who is like a very stable. He always just makes brilliant knives, and he keeps on track, and that's what he does. Do you know what I mean? Like he literally just goes, "You've taught me how to do this. I do it better than you now," which he does because he's with all the stuff I'm doing, he's made more knives than me. But he's always that point of, don't forget that we just do this as well. Like, and he's really good at just keeping me focused on actually. Yeah. And it's like this. I've made some knives this morning, and it's amazing the headspace that you find when you just get into the workshop and you pick a knife and you go, oh yeah, I forgot I can do this, and it's quite therapeutic. Yeah. And then you go back to the reasons why you're doing it in the first place, which I think is really important. So Jack's very like.
I love that Jack keeps you in check.
I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it? My first employer.
He knows. We should have Jack here, really, shouldn't we? He knows what you're like.
Yeah, no, he does. He does. And I think I've only just realised what I'm like. And then, I've been surrounded by these people that have known me for a long time that have just gone, don't do that. But I think, there are a few other people in my life that, will just tell me honestly what they think about what I'm doing, and they know sometimes that I won't listen.
You need
it.
But
you definitely need that. Yeah, you do need that somebody to check in with, and that's tricky as well as being a business owner and you're on your own. Sometimes you can feel quite isolated, can't it? And
it can feel quite lonely, can't it?
You don't know where to. Like touching back to the festival, lying in bed, going, do I lose 80 grand or do I lose? You can't feel more alone than making those decisions, because it ultimately rests on your shoulders. That is your choice, no one else's. Yeah. You can have all the people around you going, maybe this, maybe that, and you can take advice, and that's great. Yeah. But it stops with you.
You're relying on someone giving you advice that's been in that boat already. Yeah. And how many people have been in that position of launching a festival? Not many. So the chance of you knowing someone are pretty slim.
And it's always easy to say, isn't it? Oh no, just take the risk when it's not your money.
No.
When it's not your, the pressure's not on you, it's quite easy. You can be quite flippant about it and go, no, just do that, be sound, be fine. But actually,
250 grand later.
Yeah, you're like, was it fine?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that, from an inspiration point of view, it's drawn from a lot. And people, I'm just going to use Jack as that,
that's great.
As a standard thing.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Where did YouTube... How did that get introduced into your business? I know we talked kind of before we started here on camera about how you've integrated YouTube into your business and your marketing recently. So I suppose my first question is why did you choose to use that kind of platform?
Again, a little bit of an accident. We're getting a theme here, aren't we? But it was the whole. I wanted to put something out. I wanted to create something that I could almost look back on with the chefs that I work with now. Over the last 10 years, I've forged some really good relationships with some absolutely incredible chefs. And I thought it'd be really nice if I had the opportunity to cook with them. It's almost like a selfish thing. I'm going to invite some of my pals who are Michelin star chefs, some of the best in the world, and they're going to cook with me in my workshop, and we're going to film it, and it's going to be fun. So that was the kind of the start of the whole YouTube thing. Again, it came out of an accident. We were working with a chef. He came to cook for us one day, and he had this little carrier bag with a few bits in the bottom, and it was literally like the guy that was doing some filming said, "Oh, you're cooking with nothing," and that's how it. And it was like a little light bulb went off. I'm like, why don't we document this, but just on a bit of a grander scale? So that's how it came about. We had the kitchen put in,
and you called the show "Cooking with Nothing,"
and then we called the show "Cooking with Nothing." That was that, yeah. So it happened by accident, where Brad Carter, this Michelin star chef from Moseley, was cooking us the most epic steak dish. It was brilliant. Confit egg yolk. Oh, anyway. I
Tell me more. Tell me more.
It was amazing. He did this thing with butter and rice and this. Oh, anyway. So it all started with that, and then progressed into, we had the kitchen in, and then it was 6 days of shooting, and we had this thing. So it was more of a little bit of a selfish act of, I wanted to do something with these guys and document it. And obviously it all relates back to knives, it all relates back to cooking, it's all food and all that. And that was the kind of start. We then, alongside that, we drip fed in that whole Dirty Dinner Diary thing, the concept of me just being an idiot with food, again, because that's probably what I'm like anyway, just without the camera. So we thought we'll document some of that. And then we just kind of, we're now at a stage where we don't really know what to do with it. But again, we talked about...
The foundations are there, aren't they?
The foundations are there. We've got some stuff. And people still, people still talk about it. Now, even though I'm talking about like it was years ago, it was last year, but people still reference it as a way that they found out about us and as a point of interest. So it is relevant still.
Yeah, and it's still doing its work.
Yeah. People are still finding it new, aren't they?
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, there's always going to be a new wave of people that have never seen what you're doing. And when you've done something for 10 years, you question yourself. Like this morning, this couple came in, they asked about the Smokehouse, then they asked about the knives, and I found myself going, am I showing them enough enthusiasm here? Because this is their first experience with me and this thing here. Whereas, and I've been at this 10 years, and you almost feel like you're reeling off the same stuff that I am passionate about it, but is that what they expect of me? It's a weird dynamic when you've been doing something like that. But it's all good, and that, I always saw on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it is there and it does exist. It's now just what we do with it and how whether we decide to take it.
Any advice for little old us that is just starting out in that world?
I think it's just keep bashing away at it. It literally is. I mean, I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I think just consistency. And then the beauty with YouTube is you can change it up, can't you? Like, you don't have to disregard all the stuff you've worked on. It's still, like we say, it's still relevant, it still exists, it's still there. But you can go, okay, well, actually, this isn't picking up as quickly as I thought, or not getting the traction I thought. What else can we do?
Let's change the format.
So you can change it up. You can just do something different and go again. And then that can become another section of it. And then you can go again until actually something will stick. And then when it does stick, all that content is still there.
It's all part of the process, isn't it?
For people just... Yeah, but I think you can... I did it. I did it. I thought that the Cooking with Nothing would have way more traction than it did.
I mean, they've still like good figures.
Oh, it's good figures.
It's still like talking, tens of thousands of views on some videos.
Lovely figures, but in my head, not lovely enough. So where do you... I mean, whether that's part of my brain going, it was good, but was it good? And I want everything to be good. But then I have to sit back and go, well, actually, they're not bad figures. They're all right figures. Chill your boots a little bit, and then maybe we do something again and we go again. But it's still, I think it's just that you don't. I did it. I got hooked on the fact that wasn't doing what I thought it was going to do, and then you can just go, oh, sod this, I'm not doing it ever again. And then then that's it, isn't it? But I think you just have to keep plugging away.
We have to forget as well, like, just the amount of like the lessons that you would have taken from that 6 or 7 days of filming.
Oh, yeah,
would have been just
unreal,
unquantifiable. Like,
it's all, and that's the other thing. You look at some of these really big high end. I mean, I'll take food for example, like food YouTubers or whatever. You look at some of their early stuff, it is not very good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they've gone through that process as well. They've had to learn how to talk to camera, what to do in certain situations.
It's often like...
It's an alien thing. Looking at all these cameras, it's an alien thing for a lot of people. Yeah. I get that. How do you talk to camera? But you have to learn.
Let me know if you figure it out.
It is a skill. It is a skill.
You look at Jamie Oliver in the early days. If you look at like The Naked Chef, his director, she stood behind the camera. Now, obviously, there's that narration, isn't there? She's asking. You can hear her audibly asking questions, and if you notice, he never looks at the camera. He's always uncomfortable, and the reason why she was there doing that was because it was so awkward to start with that they were like, "This isn't going to work, man. This is like he's really nervy looking at the camera." So exactly that.
Yeah, she's holding his hand, and
I'll take your phone. You just deal with me. It's me and you in the room. None of these people exist.
How's it going for him now?
He's
do you know what I mean? Like that, but that just goes. He wasn't a natural performer. He was good at what he did.
This is we've talked about this before as well. Like, this is often a problem of like today's society, is that we all see these people now as like accomplished
10 plus 15 plus like, years later,
and think that's the entry level that you should be at.
Exactly, because all you're fed is the entry level. That's it. All the relevant content you're fed is entry level. Like it's our entry level bar is set up there now, isn't it? Because that's what we're fed. That's what we're fed. We're fed the stuff that's popular. We're fed the stuff that's doing well, and therefore you build this expectation that.
And you only have to look at like influencers today, like the level of production, and like some of the people we've written down to come on talk on this. Like, they are. It's just in another league now compared to the mass market. They're just. I mean, I'm saying they're big businesses, but they're influencers. The production value behind the content that they make on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis
can be ridiculous.
Is remarkable.
Next level, isn't it?
There are people that are influencers that are taking photos of themselves and like style shoots. I'm like, that's way better than me, and I'm a professional photographer. Like, it's incredible but that's what we're used to consuming. And if we aren't able to produce that off the bat, people go, oh no, I can't do that. It's easy to give up, isn't it? It's very easy just to sit back and go, I can't produce that. Why can't I produce it? So therefore, I won't produce anything at all.
Yeah. So let me dig in a little bit.
Okay.
So how many businesses do you actually have?
Well, now, not so many. I've tried to refine it down so that there's a couple that I do have that are just online things that are just teetering away, which you won't talk about. They're boring. But what I've tried to do is streamline my brain into Blok. And it all boils down to this: do one thing and do it well. But then I've separated Blok up into different, whatever you want to call them, things.
Pillars.
Pillars. And that was very businessy. I was going to say pillars. Very businessy, but it works, doesn't it? So we've got we're kind of going with this. We are Blok as a group, as a family. So we've got Blok Knives as the main original. We've got the Smokehouse, which is the Smokehouse nights, and then we're now looking at the production of like sauces and rubs and all that stuff. So everything to do with food. We've got the custom side of things, which is custom builds. So smokers, barbecues, again, all kind of siloing in with each other. And then we've got the Blok Studios, which is in essence the workshop space, but then we hold courses. So we do knife skills, butchery, all that stuff.
Amazing.
We've got you can rent the space out as for photography studio, kitchen. So we're just working on that side at the moment and launching that in the next couple of weeks. So that's kind of the Blok family in 4
kind of
arms.
enough to keep you busy, right?
I think just a little bit. I think so. But what I've learnt now is I can't do it all on my own. After 10 years, I've gone, hang on a second, is now the time to start divvying this up a little bit and go, maybe I should get somebody that's in charge of that portion, somebody that's in charge of that portion, and vice. So that's what I'm doing now.
How has that process in some ways over the years, in terms of like bringing people in and having them as part of your business, as part of Blok, really? How has that?
It's always a tricky one because I've employed people. I've had a restaurant. I've had quite a number of staff at any one point, and that's all right. It's manageable. But I think what I've decided to do now is I'd rather. Again, it's almost that pig-headed attitude of going, right, I can do this, I can do it all on my own, and it's going to be brilliant. And then you realise, after 10 years, I've sat back and gone, okay, so I'm still at a level that I'm really comfortable with, but I want to take it now to... I want to step up again. I want to take it... I've looked at Blok and I don't think I've ever taken it seriously because of how it's grown. And I've put the work in. Don't get me wrong, the work's, the sacrifices are there, the work's there. But I've always just seen it as a bit of a lifestyle thing. And now after 10 years, I've gone, where can I take this realistically? If I actually tried hard, but not just tried on my own, gone, right, get the right team of people around me, give them a little piece of this as well, so there's some incentive for them, really get them in and go, right, this is us together, and I just oversee it. Where do we actually think this could realistically go?
Where do you think that mindset comes from, that original one of like not taking it seriously? Is it like, because I almost think maybe I was thinking, is it because it started out as just like a little hobby, as a little side project?
That's it. Yeah,
like there's almost like you saying, I'm just about to start taking it seriously.
Yeah.
After 10 years.
10 years.
What a lot of people would say is very successful 10 years.
Yeah, fully.
Now you're about to start taking it seriously.
Yeah. That's what. That's
but why? Well, I don't know the answer. I'm just intrigued as to why we often feel like that.
I think part of it maybe is because of that. It's never felt like a proper job, which is, I kind of don't want I don't want a proper job, but I've never, because it's always just progressively built, and I've not sat down and gone, there's my business plan, these are the goals that I want to achieve. It's just through the hard work, and sometimes, with a bit of a nudge there and a bit of a nudge there, it's just, we're doing this now, and we're doing this now, and it's just happened. Whereas now, I want to sit down and go, right, they're the 4 sections of the business, I want to drive them all together. How do I know where we're at now, and I know where I want to be. Let's actually put some plans in place to get there, because I've never done that.
You almost need to sort of just step back from it a little bit.
Fully.
Step back and just look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And
I think appreciate what I've got.
Yeah.
And appreciate the time, the effort, the hard work that's gone into it so far. But then also go, appreciate that I can't, if I'm going to take it seriously, I can't do it all on my own.
I think we're all guilty of that, though, aren't we? Just getting the head down and getting on with it, and just running, and just moving on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And we talked about it in one of the early episodes about how COVID made us kind of stop and just recognise fully where our businesses are at. And hence why this podcast has been born. Really,
just start to pivot.
But you've got the such an amazing foundation for to kick on and go.
That's it. It's been 10 years in the making now. So if I can't make something work from this, screwed. But that's the plan. Is take it seriously now and see what actually happens. Yeah,
it's amazing. And in terms of like the business, in terms of those sort of like let's call them 4 pillars really. In terms of income that you bringing in, what sort of like the percentages that you're seeing at the moment? Is it sort of like 50% knives, 20% whatever else, or what sort of like? Just give us an insight.
I'd probably say 60% knives at the moment, and then 20% Smokehouse, 20% customs, and then the other bits again are just. So what I want to do is bring those up at the same level. So there's I can see the value in, like we talked about the Smokehouse being a fortnightly thing that people look forward to. I don't want to run that every day. I don't want to run it every week. I want to keep it at that. Mm-hmm. However, what else can we do
in order to scale that up?
Scale that up, and then you start talking about, well, everybody goes, that sauce is amazing. You need to sell it.
Yeah.
All right then. Yeah, okay. Fine. Let's find somebody. Let's make the sauce.
Let's Levi Roots this thing.
Yeah, exactly. And why not? Yeah, it's a real brutal market to be involved in, but we make a nice barbecue sauce. So why not try and we
have to look at like the branding and the aesthetic of your brand as well.
Yeah,
has established itself incredibly well. Like it's performed.
Yeah,
people are drawn to it because of that.
Yeah,
and why couldn't you?
Why not now use that 10 years of?
And also about like even like the custom built Smokehouse stuff. Now you only have to look at just the absolute boom in outdoor pizza ovens. In the UK in the last year or so to go. Hold on a second, there are people want this in their garden, don't they? You know.
Exactly. I mean, we built the first custom offset smoker 2 months ago. Sat Bains brought that.
Amazing.
So, he's best chef in the country, just awarded. He's got 2 Michelin-star restaurant, and out the back in his garden, next to his smoking thing, is our smoker. So, that for me is kind of just going, well, he wants it. We should be all right.
What's the retail price for a smoker? What's that?
They're coming in at just under 3.5.
Yeah.
But, it's It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's steel costs. It's all handmade by us in a workshop.
They look incredible.
And they work
beautiful.
They work fantastically well. Again, they look pleasing to look at, because it's a thing that you're going to have to look at all the time. That's it, isn't it? But they smoke really well, and it's a nice usable product. So we're going to extend that, with the barbecue side of things, all the functional things you can cook on. But the custom side, we've always kind of dabbled in anyway. We've just never advertised it. So we've built tables for Sat Bains. We've built menu holders, candle holders, wine troughs. We've done all of this
Everything.
stuff. I've just put a big quote in for Lawrence Henry. He won MasterChef 4 years ago. He used to work at Sats. He's got a £30 million restaurant bill going up in Nottingham at the moment.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah,
incredible. But I went round there a couple of weeks ago, and look at the building. It's stunning, next level stunning. But he wants charcoal oven. I don't build charcoal, but we can build one. He wants Conroe grills. He wants taco holders, meat skewers. So we basically anything front of house custom that he wants building. That's just not from.
You can't do all this on your own.
No. Exactly, physically impossible. So now we've got somebody dedicated to just do the fabrication side of things. So this is what I mean. It's slowly just realising where those people need to come in, what part they're going to play, and just try and push it all together at the same time.
I love the idea of just slowly, not even slowly, but just raising those 4 dials one by one to the point that they actually get nice and equal.
Yeah, that's the idea. I don't want anything to subsidise, and
So we've got these 4 pillars that you want to build your business upon, really. Obviously, with all that you've said, you will have to bring more people in and sort of like scale back yourself. How are you going to do that?
Can you let go?
That's the question, isn't it? I think it gets to a point where the realisation kicks in that if you want to make that jump, that leap, you have to let go. And there's always, as long as you can understand that no one else is going to be as mentally passionate about that thing as you are, then you're off to a fighting chance, I think. Because if you make the assumption that people are going to be as into it as you, you're going to be let down, aren't you? That's I think that's the crux of it. Is I've created this over 10 years, and it has been the most stable thing in my life for 10 years. Everything else has been, but I've always fallen back on, I can rely on Blok. That's never going to let me down, because it's always been in my control, and it's my baby, and that's it, that's mine. Yeah. Now, someone else is going to come on board, then it's not going to be them. It's not going to be, they're going to want to put the work in, but they've not created this thing.
They're not going to take it home with them.
Yeah. No, they're going to, you kind of want people to be passionate. You want people to. So I'm trying to handpick people now that I've worked with for a bit or known for a bit that I think can bring value to a different area. So each person requires, each area requires a different person. I've got to be very picky about, who those people are for different reasons. But then I've also got to understand that it's never going to be how I view it. Yeah. And that's the bit I think I'm letting go of is that, yes, it's mine. Yeah. Give them a bit of an incentive to work at it, because you give ownership. So I'm giving away some ownership of Blok. That's what I'm doing. I'm giving a percentage. And I always thought, no, it's all mine. I'm going to keep it. I've worked for it. Bah, bah, bah.
Yeah. But you can see the bigger picture now. You're starting to see the bigger picture. But
now
right?
I'm like, if I surround myself with these people for these different areas and I can give them an incentive that's as big as, this is a thing that I've built for 10 years and I'm proud of, but I'm willing to give you a piece of it to come on board and drive that area.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. I think recruitment's pretty key, isn't it?
Yeah. I was going to say that I think as well as creatives, and especially as photographers as well, just to bring it to our sphere, in terms of like having to let go of, let's say, edits, or having to let go a specific portion of your business in terms of like bringing a PA in or a VA, whatever you want to bring in, there's got to be that sense of having a certain type of strength in order to kind of like hold your hands up and sort of say, it's my time, and if I want to gain that time back, I just gotta let go. Yeah, I just gotta let go and be able to scale it in different ways.
Yeah, but it allows you to grow and build your business. And
exactly.
Like when you're constantly swamped with the day-to-day tasks of your business, exactly what we've talked about, being able to like step back and see the bigger picture. Like, you can't ever do that when you come in the office and you're going, right, I've got all this to get on with today. I've got so much to do. You're slammed, but you're never going to go anywhere. You're always swimming against the tide. Right?
Yeah, you're always firefighting, aren't you? You just act. You're reacting to tasks that are placed in front of you, but you're not being proactive. I've found that I'm just constantly. I go in and I go, right, I've got to do that. I try and write a list every day, like a brain dump of just going, right, these are the 3 things I want to achieve. This is all the crap that's on my mind. Yeah. And this is how I'm going to plan my day out. I don't even get to that stage. Because by the time I'm sat there, I've dealt with that. I've done this and I've dealt with that, and I'm all over the shop. But yes, I think I'm a big believer in surrounding yourself with people that are better than you at what they do. And I think,
hey, we talked about that, haven't we?
Yeah. But it's true, isn't it? Like, I would happily admit that Jack's a better knife maker than me. By default, now he's made more knives, and he's fantastic at making knives. Now, is my benefit for Blok Knives and the bigger picture of Blok Knives to stand in that workshop and make knives 8 hours a day? No, it isn't. Do I want to stop making knives? No, I don't. But I want to make less knives, and then okay, so the custom fabrication stuff is my benefit. Welding mask on, welding metal all day. No, it isn't. I can get somebody to do that better than me, but my job then becomes the ambassador for the brand, the business, going to see these people, going to nurture the relationships that I've spent 10 years growing, and that's me. That's what I do.
Yeah. Like, how far afield do your knives go?
Oh, all over the shop. They're all over the shop. Yeah,
we're not just on this little island, are they?
No,
they don't just go to
because we once messed up a delivery. Japan and America, and Jack sent one to Japan that was meant to go to America. I was like, could you have gone further apart, mate? Come on, do you know what I mean? But yes, they're going all over the shop, and there's so much scope. To go,
and same with the smokers as well. Like, there's nothing to say that people in America. Customers in America won't want those products.
Yeah, I mean, they're big over there. They're not so big here, but they're now starting to. It's the new thing, and everyone's like smoking mad, and it's brilliant. So, but that's not going to stop us just to be UK based. And as a brand, I think a brand can go anywhere you want it to go, can't it? That's the, you look at Deus or Juice or however you want to say it. Everybody thinks that's a clothing brand, because it's sold in nice clothes shops now. It didn't start off as they make motorbikes, but now they've got restaurants that you surfwear, push bikes, motorbikes, clothing. They've taken that as a brand and they've gone, where do we want to be with this? It's all relative. It all makes sense when you look at it. It's not confused. You go on the website and you go, this is nice. This makes sense.
It's a great business template, particularly for you.
Exactly.
There's a lot of parallels there.
And that's what
there is no way that whoever's formed Deus. Or Juice. I go Deus.
Yeah, Deus. But,
there's no way that whoever founded that company is still just doing the day-to-day menial tasks of that business. It's just
we've got a comment on the website. You know what I mean? You can't manage it.
I'm going to put a post out on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just physically you have to outsource those tasks in order to grow.
But then your time then has to change from actually putting in the structure to allow other people to do that stuff for you. And that's what I'm realising now. That stuff takes a hell of a lot of time.
Though, how exciting is that, though?
Yeah.
Like hearing you talk about that and the potential of your business and where it can go, excites me.
Let's go!
I'm like, come on, right,
what are we doing next? But it is, but the value now is, in my time, not just focusing on that, it's focusing on how we can allow other people to do that. And that's and sometimes you think, is that a waste of time? If I get an apprentice, I've got to spend so much time doing that. But actually, the outcome after that initial investment of time in somebody is that then you've got this whole portion of time back now. So what do we do with that? And then you build it again and you go again. So I think, that's the key is putting the structure and the template down for how you see it moving forward, and then trying to implement.
Dead exciting. Very exciting. I think you've done clothes before as well, haven't you? As well, you've dabbled in.
Yeah, we've got a few caps knocking about.
Of course,
yes. Yeah, but again, we still. I enjoy.
I'm looking forward to the day I see a Blok candle.
You mean a blandle?
A wax candle.
You don't know.
In a figure of your body. Yeah. So how you get the feminine ones. Shocking. It's a great way of. It's just a great way of seeing like the next sort of 5 or 10 years for your business, and just starting to think, hold on, once you start to separate yourself from those tasks that have you put blood and sweat into and whatever, and that probably quite literally put blood into it, haven't you?
Yeah, literally.
It's a knife maker.
Yeah.
That actually the potential for growth is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't know until you get into it, do you? But it could be huge.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it will be.
Fingers crossed.
Igor. I mean, I'm all out of questions here. I think. I mean, we could chat for quite a while, I reckon. But anything else that you got on your list that you want to ask?
I've got a question, but it's a very specific question.
Okay.
Talk to me about your beans.
Oh, don't you dare!
Talk to me about your beans, because they seem to be very specific, and I've not tasted them.
Right,
but
it's such an annoying question. You know it is as well. You know
he's done his homework.
The beans thing. We made some beans, man. We've just made some beans, and everyone goes batshit crazy about these beans, and they are nice beans. Don't get me wrong. We smoke them for like 5 hours. They've got molasses, brown sugar, all the spices in there, and it is a good bean. But now it's become a thing where at every smokehouse, whether people know they're doing it or they've been prepped to do it or they don't know, mate, those beans were bad. So I've been up all night. Cooking a brisket for 18 hours and resting it for 16 hours and stuff. Yeah. And I present this tray of meat that I'm knackered, I'm run down, I'm tired, and people go, "Oh, those beans were nice." I might just mix some shit together, put it in the smoker for a few hours, and that's what you're coming back on. So yeah, you get to take your beans, comment. You can shove it. I hate the beans. We might sell them next to Heinz. That's what we're going to do next.
Can you imagine
the block beans? Block beans.
So, yeah, you heard it here first. Guys.
But that's what I meant though. That's what I sort of like after the conversation that we've had.
Yeah.
It's just obvious for me. It's like,
do you know what?
You want to try the beans, don't you, Igor?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
No, I think we can them.
A nice little bottle of
block beans,
bottle of red,
block barbecue beans.
Yeah, I can see the label as well. It's black, black and white.
Yeah,
probably sort of like goes sort of like that 2 lettering, which is quite sort of handwritten and block beans.
Block beans.
Boom.
Block beans, block sauce, block rubs. It's all there, isn't it?
It's the future.
I can't believe I've come on this podcast and I'm going away now. I'm going to be
right, guys.
Bean manufacturers.
Like, sort him out with a pallet of beans.
There we go. That's a guarantee. Live on camera.
There we go.
First pallet of beans is coming your way.
Happy man.
No, I'll have to come one day to the smokehouse.
To the smokehouse.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, definitely.
Any veggie options?
I do a mean mac and cheese. I do a mean mac and cheese.
That's good for me. That's good for me.
Yeah.
Boom. That's really good. Ben, it's been amazing having you here.
Thank you, mate.
Really
enjoyed it.
No, it's been really fun.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I think people will take a lot of lessons out of that conversation. There's a lot of things that I think we can all relate to. I think it's like this idea of just sometimes you just got to go for it, haven't you?
Yeah.
And figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe just step back from it and just take it all in.
But you very much are the epitome of it, of people just constantly having ideas and not pulling the trigger, but you are constantly pulling the trigger and saying, no, that didn't work, on to the next one.
Yeah.
And that's a skill to be admired, because most of the time people don't even get to the stage of actually producing something or even trying it. So kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thanks, it's kind of in our name, isn't it? Another idea.
Yeah, that's it.
Very fitting for Ben.
Yeah. And we've come away with beans. So it's banging.
There we go.
And he's got another idea now.
I don't think you're gonna. I don't think we can finish it any better than that.
No.
Spot on. Thanks, Ben.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Amazing.